Just to getting a first glance then at these numbers that you've reported this morning, can you tell me a little bit about the resilience of EasyJet to the various headwinds that we're seeing for the sector? How confident for the future are you?
Yes, good morning. Well, it's certainly been a fantastic year for EasyJet, and I think particularly in the backdrop of some of the difficulties that a number of airlines has had in 2018. The numbers is actually a record profit if you exclude the transaction that we've been involved with with Air Berlin, and we had a record number of passengers as well, almost 90 million, which is a 10% increase. So it's been a really good year.
It's been a good year. What does the oil price lead you to believe about the future, Johan? Of course, there's been a lot of concern about rising oil prices, but then just recently we've seen actually oil prices coming off almost as quickly as they rose. Is this going to be something that continues to guide capacity in the sector? What's the impact?
Yeah, well, it does give, a volatility, in the sector. But I think it's different from different airlines. From an EasyJet perspective, we are quite well hedged. So that means that we get certainty over the cost in the years to come as well. But, there's also a lot of airlines out there who doesn't have the balance sheet and can't afford to hedge, which means that when they get cost increases such as fuel or even on the currency, that's going to hit them. So I think that, weaker airlines will find it more difficult to compete when there's volatility within the fuel and the FX market.
And let me ask you about something else that could create volatility, and that's Brexit, Johan. Where do your concerns lie with regards to Brexit? Do you have any operational concerns, or are they of a different nature?
Well, we've been preparing for Brexit now for the past 2 years, and I think that we have also looked at every possible scenario, whether that is a deal scenario, whether that is a no deal scenario, and we feel confident in the planning that we've done that even in the event of a no deal, as late as last week, the European Commission was proposing measurements that would protect traffic rights, and that has also been reciprocated by the UK government. So based on those statements and the preparation that we've done in EasyJet, I'm confident that flying will continue post March 29.
So not operational concerns, Johan. Is the big risk the weakness in the pound and what that does to spending power of Brits as they go abroad?
Yes, and like I said, it's the same thing with the pound as it is also with the fuel, that we are quite well hedged when it comes to our currencies as well. And those hedges are there to minimize also the volatility and get certainty over the cost. But as we said earlier, it will definitely have an effect on weaker players in the aviation market, that's for sure.
You're not concerned then about the operations at around the end of March, beginning of April next year, Johan, but are your customers concerned? Tell us about bookings, in particular for that crucial Easter period next year. Are there signs that Brexit is meaning that some customers just are deciding to stay at home this year?
Actually not. I mean, we're going to launch and announce our also trading update today for the year. We can actually see that we're slightly ahead of bookings, coming in for the H2. So it doesn't seem like there's a concern for bookings at the moment. But of course, having said that, we would like to have, certainty and clarity over what the future will be. But like I said, we feel confident that flying will continue, partly because of the preparations we've done in EasyJet, and partly also then because of the statement that I said that both EU and the UK have said that traffic rights will be protected even in the event of a no deal.
OK, so no reason to suspect that the Christmas, New Year period, when a lot of people start to book ahead for next year, no reason to suggest that you'll underperform there because of Brexit?
No, there's no signs that says that at the moment. But of course, as time moves on, it would be good to get clarity and certainty around it. But for EasyJet's perspective, we feel confident that flying will remain because and continue uninterrupted because of the things that I talked earlier about.
Let me ask you a little bit about Alitalia. If your bid there is successful, is it just the short-haul assets that you're interested in? Are you working with others who might take the long-haul assets?
Well, it's right that we have resubmitted our interest in parts of Alitalia, and it's really three things that needs to happen if we were to go ahead and do any transaction. And this is something that we would look for in any M&A activity overall. One, it needs to strategically make sense for us, and it's no secret that we're interested in short-haul operations and in Europe. The commercial terms clearly has to be there as well, but also operationally we need to be capable of managing what we take on. And if those three things happen, and if they are aligned with what we can do and want to achieve, then it would be interesting for us. But there's no update to give on the situation specifically about Alitalia at the moment.